Hello, this is Gene. I waited about a week to give you my impression of the election that we had in the midterms. In Florida, we've had some issues. Also, they had some problems in Arizona, and I guess there's some problems in Georgia as well. With that all being said, I think that what we earned or learned on that night, that DeSantis and Scott are going to be our representatives, will still hold at the end. Scott has got about 12,000 vote lead right now, and they're doing the electrical recount, and I think DeSantis has got like a 37,000 lead. So I think that they're both going to win, which is good. But people have been talking about there was no blue wave or there was no red wave. Well, I can tell you this: there clearly wasn't a red wave. A blue wave, you might be able to say that because they took the House back. But what I look at this is more like a black pill wave, because after the election, the last couple of days, just thinking about it, this was another big wake up about what's going to happen in the future. Demographics is our destiny. It clearly is. It's just so infuriating to me when I listen to people on normally Republican channels calling in and saying that the problem in the South and why they're losing some of their seats is because all these northeastern liberals come down and they continually vote for what they had up there, even though they left there to come here because of the better taxes and all that stuff that we have. So they're basically talking about the white liberal family doing this, and I'm like, are you looking at all the demographics that's happened in the South? Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, these are states that are going to, at some point, are no longer going to be majority white. And as you consider yourself like a civic nationalist, say, well, it shouldn't matter. The Constitution and our ideas should weigh out. But the question is it continues on. I was a person that said before this midterm that I thought that there was an awakening in the black community. Apparently, the statistics don't show that, or that message is not going out to where it needs to go. Still, in the state of Florida, of course, we had a Democratic black man running for our governor. It was like 20 or 95% black voting for him. But the strange thing is, in Michigan, there was a young African American conservative, and he lost about the same way. The black people didn't vote for him. They vote for the ideology of the Democrats. So if they're never going to change, and I can't continually just hear this online saying, or on radio shows saying it's their fault, it's the white whatever, but the white men are still voting about 70% for the Republicans, and white women are about 52% for Republicans. Now, again, I am not a Republican. They're not the best thing for all. They're on the right side of the political spectrum, and we don't have enough further to the right, or whatever you want to call it, that look at things as what is the future. So in the whole last week, I was just very black-pilled, and there are a lot of people online started talking about it, and they're all basically saying the same thing, that basically it's over, that Trump is our last president. Right now, I don't think he can win in 2020. Regardless, even if we have DeSantis as the governor in this state, I don't think he's going to win Florida. Unless the Democrats are stupid enough to run Hillary again. Now, Hillary might end up winning because, I don't know, she'll do something to make sure she gets across. Maybe she'll have another person on her ticket, one of the younger guys that she will want to put with her, and that might be enough. But black people, white people, whatever, this idea that just based on their ideas, that they're going to come along and say, obviously, this is the best thing. How is it possible, regardless if this is the midterm, in the first term of a presidency, and historically, you usually lose the House if you had it, if you're the president. But this is the first time that I can remember in my lifetime where the economic victories were so much better than it was before he came in, and the people that it's been helped the most still voted against his party in a 90 to 10 clip. And it's shocking to me that they're so brainwashed about that. And I don't get it. And I don't trust most of what we get from these counties that are mostly Democratic. Around here, of course, where I'm from is more conservative. It's about 60 to 40, I guess, 59 to 41, something like that. And this happened during Trump as well. I would drive all over this county, and then I would go outside of it where more of a Democratic strongholds, and I would not see anything for Hillary. I did the same thing this time. Now, it wasn't as many people out, but there were still a lot of signs out. Just 2 or 3 Gillums, wherever I went with about 100 miles of where I was at, and hundreds of DeSantis. But Orlando went like 2 to 1 for Gillum. Tampa went for Gillum. Obviously, South Florida went to Gillum. It's just, it's crazy to me when you consider what this man believes. And that crazy-ass woman in Arizona who's a pink-coat feminist, radical feminist, who got in as well. As much as I would think that the Democratic Party is nuking themselves, they know that that's the future, that they are the future, and they're just going to continually cow down to that thing. People of color, people are not even citizens. They should be able to vote. It's just as a person who's over 50, a white guy, that I'm the most oppressed person, or I'm the one who oppresses everybody. I know what's coming, and so when I talk about there's no red wave, there's no blue wave, this is clearly, to me, is a black pill wave. And I see a lot of it coming out right now. A lot of guys that are kind of getting really nihilistic about our future because we won't stand up for ourselves. And we see in places where it's still 80%, 89%, 85% white in their countries, and they're not doing anything about it. And we're in this country, we're 62 and falling every fucking day. And what do you think is going to happen when we become the minority in the country? I mean, do you think all of a sudden they're going to look at us as one of those? They're not going to do that. We're going to still be. They already have the media on their side. They already have the press, the laws per se, the Congress basically saying that they can do whatever they want to us. And if we say anything, that we need to be investigating. And that reminds me of this video that I saw, a picture I saw, and it was 2 or 3 or 4 months ago that these mostly white juniors in high school, some looked like they were doing the Nazi. The other one had a black fist, or the black fist of power. There was one black guy there, and he wasn't doing much, but he was laughing the entire time. I mean, everybody was laughing in it. And they want to dox these guys. They want the police to be involved, and the people are saying how shameful it is for that. And I'm like, is the only reason you think it's shameful, and the only reason why it's getting any relevance, is the fact that it was about Nazis, and that relates to back who runs the media in this country, which is the Jewish people. And they see shit like that, they get so triggered and offended that apparently we have to go to the cops and say, you shouldn't do that. I mean, in some places, obviously in Europe, in Germany, if you did that, you're going to get in jail, a sentence for it. In parts in Canada, the same shit would happen. And that's what they want to have happen in this country as well. They might even call that a hate crime. But as we know, almost all the hate crime reported have been hoaxes, but nobody responds about that. And it's usually by the same people that are saying they're being hateful too. So I see stuff like this, and they're just shaming these young guys because they're white, and they were doing something stupid. And whether it's stupid or not, I think it was kind of funny. And who cares? Why can't guys be guys? I mean, they're not doing anything that's hurting anybody. If you can't get past it, I don't know. So it's indicative of what's going on the West right now, especially the United States. And I keep saying that Europe has got their head in the sand. We have our butt, our torso, our neck, and our head in the stand. And we're just going to be fucked for the rest of the time because nobody's waking up to this. And all the great content that's on YouTube and great people talking about this stuff, nothing really changes. You think that I see so many of these young black guys coming out being conservative and stuff. Some would really understand about the alt-right, but still their community continually votes this way. I mean, we get better, people on the right get more votes from Hispanics who are apparently, that Trump continually says are like rapists and shit. But in the black community, they continually vote this way, and I don't understand. Well, I understand why, but most guys who are black are in prison and they don't have the vote. There are some areas it's like 1 out of 3 black men over 18 are in prison at some point. So normally they would vote a little bit more for Republican, but they still vote at about 8 or 9% to the right, whereas the women vote about 98% to the left. Because they know the welfare and all that shit. They're worried that if a Republican gets in there, they're going to start changing that. But when you hear this on the video online and you hear this, and they don't ever bring up the real issue that single fathers or single mothers in the black community, and they have to continually vote Democratic. They do this because they need it for their welfare or whatever. And the Democratic Party is so anti-United States right now, and the citizens of this country, including black people, that I don't understand anybody would actually vote for them. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about borders and walls and everything else on the left. That's gone because they realize that that's how they keep the power. And I'm not saying it would be any different if there was like 150,000 or 1 million coming from Europe that were all white, that it's very possible that the Republicans might open it up for them, and say that, they don't need to go through the same type of shit that everybody else has to do. I'm so tired of both parties. The Republicans are such fucking pussies, and they won't do anything, and they finally get a guy that runs them like Trump, and he's as an alpha for a long time, but when it comes down to certain things like Jewish issues, man, he becomes a pussy as well. I don't know. Just let me know what you think. I don't think that anything's going to happen at all. I think that the wall is not going to be built, and I don't think that Trump's going to win. I just don't see it. Again, unless they run somebody just that he'll destroy in the debates, I don't see it happening. Because in 2020, I think that the state will go blue. I really thought, even though all the polls had Gillum up by 7 points, I still thought that DeSantis was going to win by 4 or 5 points here, and it became basically a 50-50 thing, or 51 point whatever. So it's just more, every year it's getting worse, not worse and worse, but you can tell that the side that it's going to. Texas is going to be the same way. Mississippi is going to go that way as well. There's no way that a Republican could ever win. Regardless, whatever he does in the next 2 years, it's even worse. If it becomes there is no unemployment at all, everybody's 0.0, that we've had half of our data that is gone, let's say, that the stock market is at 50,000, and everybody's getting millions and millions of dollars in their 401. He's not going to get more than 10% of the black vote. He's not going to get more than 30% of the Latino vote. It's just not going to happen because these people have been brainwashed. And I'm just at one point, I've been trying to been so optimistic. I kept saying to myself, I'm not going to be that far all the way down to the alt-right and said I want to have an ethno state and all that shit because I don't think it could happen in this country. But something's going to happen, and I just wish to God that people will wake up, even though we've woken up a lot of people, millions of people have been red-pilled. But they're right at the top of that rabbit hole that I talk about on this channel all the time. They will not go down any further, and most of that's the Republican media as well. They don't want to go any further. They don't want to talk about the Jewish question. They don't want to talk about the influence that they have in this country. They are part of the problem as well. And when the Democratic Party, who's supposed to be about the people, really champions corporations over everything else, and they consider that the resistance, I mean, it's just crazy what's going on right now. And I just want to say one thing before I leave. Personally, I think that Acosta should have been banned from press briefings before. But I'm not calling what he did as assault. Did he put her hand on him? Yes. But this society needs to stop treating women as basic retarded women, retarded kids. He should have did what he did. He deserves to be not be there, but it's not because of that. It's because of his disrespect for the presidency, for the president, for himself. I don't know. This is like what people are talking about now, and it's all over the different media. And I'm like, why is it? Who cares about this? This is exactly what he wants, and this is what CNN wants. I mean, why is this being talked about when we got people coming up to our borders, and there's the messaging from the Republicans isn't the right messaging to attract better voters. People continually believe that the Republican Party is basically people like me over 50, they're white guys. And they want to basically say I'm the reason for all their problems, when this country has given them so much stuff and so much opportunity that they still want to blame me. You can continually poke me and people like me, but at some time we're going to come back. And I'm saying I'm going to go out and kill people. That's not what I'm talking about. But I mean, I go through this, I go up and down with this every 3 or 4 months. And I started going up where I started thinking more optimistic. But now I'm black-pilled again. I just don't see it. And then I realize I'm sitting on I can just see it. I'm going to be 80 years old, let's say, if I live that long. And it's going to come across the thing, and it's going to say that the whites are a minority in our country, and my kid's going to be there. And I'm going to say, see, I told you this. And I said, I know, Dad. I'm like, I probably should listen to you. And I can't go anywhere because they just look at me like I'm the bad person or some shit. And he's bringing up his own kids. And he's like, Dad, I don't know what to do. And I'm here about ready to die. And to see everything just be taken away from this country that was created by us. And why can't we defend it? Why can't we just have that in us? Just strange. I mean, another strange thing that happened was I was watching Raw last night. And again, I watch wrestling. I do. My kid likes it, so I watch it with him. And at the end, Ronda Rousey started talking about Becky Lynch, who is really doing well right now. And she calls herself the man. And Rousey comes out talking about millennial men and that they have buns on their head and they're weak and all that stuff, and they have skinny jeans. And I mean, this is true. We've lost all of our masculinity in the last generation. And who do you think that women are going to go after? I mean, you see this all the time. Somebody might say something in the European Union says there's all these millions of testosterone-driven men coming up from Africa. Well, women are attracted to strong men, regardless of their color. I think, given a choice, I think they normally would stay within their own race, let's say. But they're attracted to somebody that's strong. And as men, especially white men, continually get more weak and become more like women, dude, we're just doing it to ourselves. And I just wish we would stop, that we would embrace masculinity and teach our kids, our boys, to be more like men. But anyway, that's a different video. Let me know down below. Tell me what you think the future is going to hold in this country. Again, right now, on this day, I'm very black pill about our future. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye.